There it is.
Yo!
It only took twice.
Twice, it's all right. Happy Monday, y'all.
Tuesday.
All right, wait. Tuesday. Happy
Yep.
Tuesday, y'all. It's been a crazy day already. And on my screen, it
Awesome
doesn't even
day.
say live. There we go. Now it says live. 13 seconds
Now
in, but it's still
That's cool.
it's still on there. Well, here we go. Let's
I
jump the
heard
show.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business and social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
We are here. It is.
We are.
It is a beautiful day.
It is Tuesday afternoon. We're ready to rock and roll. I think we got some lag,
Always.
but you know what? Who cares? We're going to get into this thing anyways.
It's my
Dude.
fault. I know. I get the Google upgrade thing.
You have to, dude. You have to.
What's it
Because
called
otherwise
again?
it's called a Google Mesh. I think it's called a Google Mesh.
All right.
Yeah, that thing's the
check it
that's
out.
the
It's
ultimate
gonna get
Wi-Fi. Yeah, we need to fix his Wi-Fi because he's got that sketchy connection and it gets troublesome
no
every
bueno.
once in a while. No bueno. All right, dude. Tuesday, man. We've been working our butts off lately. We've been
Always.
talking about the carrier experience, and we've been going back and forth. We've been making some calls and doing some sales calls and some presentations. Because, like we talk about those, those 5 different things. There you go. There's the background. So there's 5 different things that we need to be doing on a daily basis that are dollar productive activities. We're either lead generating,
follow up,
lead generating, lead follow up, presenting, negotiating, or closing. Those are the 5 things that you need to be doing on a daily basis in your business in order to be working towards a dollar productive activity, right? That's what we need to be doing. So, I mean, today was no different. Like literally we were on sales calls, James and I, pretty much a good portion of the middle of the day, right? And
awesome.
And we're talking to carriers. Again, we're talking to people who we want to be a part of the program. Because that's going to be the next show. And we've decided on a date. Now we put in a nice hard, well, you know what, is it, let's make sure, because we picked the date. We said September 1st. And September 1st is a Tuesday. So perfect. So we're going to be launching on September
We're going to take action on a
1st.
Tuesday.
Take action Tuesday. That's the goal, right? Love me some Google Nest. See, by the way, so Jeff's home, right? Jeff's home is a beautiful place. Not only does it have the upgrades all the way across, but it's a smart home, dude. So like, when I go over to like show his listing, I literally text him. I'm like, all right, I'm here. And then he like opens the garage from God knows where he's at.
I got 4 of these little guys sticking around in different appliances. I can see, Alexa, turn off the box fan.
Boom.
Oh, she was.
She said, I heard it say okay, but that's the whole point, right? Like we live in modern technology. Like getting that Google Nest is going to expand your internet, so you're at a good spot, and you get to do some extra cool things. Turn on the lights, turn off the lights, turn on the AC. Keep your house at a perfect temperature for when you get home, not so much when you're out and about, right? Turn on the garage. Open the garage, that sort of stuff. Some cool stuff to be working on in your main home. So anyways,
I love technology when it works right.
When it works right, exactly. So we've been doing some sales calls all day today, talking to different carrier reps and basically pitching them on the proposition of what we're bringing to the table. And most of you who have been paying attention to the show, all of our 3 fans, right? I think we're gonna pick a number. I always liked. What wrestler did that, right? He would talk about, The Rock talked about his millions and millions of fans across. but there was somebody else who would say my one fan, and I heard actually Ricky talking about it the other day, Ricky and Nino, and he uses the podcast. He's like, it was somebody on the radio that would say my one fan, right? Our true one fans or something like that. It might have been like Jeff and Jair. I don't remember who it was, but they would always refer to their one fan. So I think we're gonna go with 3, just because I'm the third, so I like that number 3.
It's a good number.
So for the 3 fans that listen to our show, they know, right, that we're gonna be launching the carrier experience very, very soon. And so like the carrier experience,
Bonnie, Jeff, and Mom.
There you go, Bonnie, Jeff, and Mom, right? The loyal fans
are 3.
And our three loyal fans. And so, we're going to be launching this program. And one of the questions that we got today from the carrier rep was, how often are you going to be doing the show? Right? It's going to be a once a week thing, a couple times a month. And we answered with that weird question, with that weird answer we give everybody. Oh no, we're crazy.
We're doing this daily.
We're doing it was the exact response we got, right? Every day. That's
Every day. Point.
I had a sales call with a realtor today, and it was about getting him to get some video content created for him on a regular basis, as well as creating content via podcasting. And I gave him the same type of pitch. I was like, he asked me, he's like, well, if I do set up a podcast, how often should I do a show? And I was like, well, how often do you want to talk to a prospective client? Like, if you're asking me that question, I'm doing a show every day because I want to talk to a prospective client every single day. Mm-hmm. I use podcasting as a prospecting tool. That's how I'm utilizing this medium. And so, I'm super proud of the 3 fans that we got. But at the same time, every person that comes on the show is somebody that you can prospect to, somebody that you can get to know, that becomes part of your circle of influence, that you build a relationship with, and can lead to future business, going forward, or a referral for all that, for all as long as you establish that relationship and you maintain it. So when we talk to these insurance carriers, we're pitching them the same type of thing, but we're actually talking to carrier reps, and we're coming at them with the whole MO of wrestling, right? We're like, we want to make you, Mr. Carrier Rep or Mrs. Carrier Rep, the rock star. We want you to be the one that is bringing on that agent, and you're giving them the experience. You're giving them the red carpet treatment. You're telling them that how amazing they are, and we're giving them the opportunity to be on a platform to share it with a bunch of other professionals. And we want to be in that niche, and it's been a fun thing, dude. That's how the sales calls have been going. And then, for some of them, they're like, you know what, we need to take this up with legal. And some of them are like, hell yeah, this is exactly what we've been looking for. How do I sign up? Right?
Yeah. Those are the ones we like talking to.
Those are the ones we really like, right? Because you skip a couple steps there and they go straight towards the sale, which is awesome. But that's the MO. That's what it's been like today on the podcast side. And even then, I've also been going back and forth all day today with negotiations on real estate deals, like trying to line things up and trying to get, terms to line up, trying to get pricing to line up, trying to get escrows to line up. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And the most difficult part of real estate is not the fact that the communication with one agent to another. It has to go, the communication goes from agent to agent, and then from agent to client, and then client has to think about it and then get back to agent, and then agent relays, and like all that can, it can take some time. And I totally understand why some agents, this is not for them. I mean, it could be totally super stressful situation when it's anything but put a sign in the yard and the deal closes, right? Anything that requires, well, because you know what it is you have to tell people that it's not the easiest thing in the world, right? You have to tell people that things like, this is the most that we're getting for your property, or this is the time frame that we got, or that is not going to happen. You can't, I would love for that to happen, but you can't do that. And I think what happens with most salespeople is they try to make things up rather than just be honest with where we are. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, this is where we're at. This is what we were hoping for, but this is where we're at. So you gotta make a decision, and let people make their decisions and understand that that's okay. Whatever decision they make, that's where they're gonna go. But it's stressful because on the one hand, you're trying to appease your client and make sure that your client's happy, and on the other hand, you got the agent on the other side that's hoping that you're able to do whatever you can do so that they get the deal on their side. So it's a balancing act. And if you don't have the wherewithal just to understand that a transaction's a transaction and you're going to push for the best that you can, dude, that's where a lot of these agents just trip out, man. That's where a lot of them end up jumping ship, and they're like, you know what, this is not for me. This is too stressful. I'm off to the next best thing, right? But the ones that can understand that stress level, the ones that have a system in place, the ones that are able to push through, that's where the success comes in. But it comes down to those same things, right? Are you lead generating on a daily basis? Are you following up with your leads on a regular basis? And that's one of the things, by the way, following up. has always been one of my weaknesses, right? I don't follow up enough. I think I follow up, like I'm pushing myself you've been on the 5 a.m. calls now, Ham, which I'm super proud of you. So for me today, the thing was, how do you what are you pushing on this month? And it's going to be follow up that one more time that you didn't think you were going to follow up. Because I'm a big proponent of let people think about it, like give them the time to mull over the decision and then come up with them. But I also want to make sure that I follow up on a regular basis, and so that's one of the things that I've been doing here most often is making sure that step 2, lead generation, I've been good at that. That's what the podcast has been helping a lot on. Lead follow up, that is a self-limiting issue that most people have. Right? The lead follow-up, yeah, you follow up one time, but one time is never enough. Oftentimes 2 times is never enough either, 3 times either. It's usually about 5 or 6 times in the follow-up process before you get something moving in the direction that you want to move in. So, I'm keeping track of the number of times that I follow up, and I'm trying to get to at least that 5 or 6 marker. And believe it or not, even though I'm uncomfortable at the 3, right, following up for the 3rd time, it's actually more beneficial when you hit that 4th and 5th follow-up. People are like, yes, oh dude, thanks for reminding me. Like I really need to get back to that. Or, I completely forgot to get back to you. You get those kinds of responses, but if you are consistently doing that, so hit that 5 or 6, even 7 number of times that you follow up with people, and you're going to get to that next step, right? So lead generation, lead follow-up, and then present, right? So
that's the fun part.
Well, that's a skill. Right. That's something that you're developing over time. When we had our sales, we had 2 sales calls with 2 different reps today. Right. And after we did the first one, right after we finished, we stayed on here talking a little bit. And one of the things
we had
I
about
asked
10
you was,
minutes in between.
10 minutes in between. Right. And one of the things I asked you was, well, what did you think of that call? Like, what did you rate yourself? How do you think you did?
What was your analysis?
Right. What was your analysis of how that call went? And that's something that you have to make sure that you're honest with yourself. Like, you even said, you know what, man, I said this, I probably shouldn't have said that because that's not where I wanted to go. But I for this next one, this is how I'm going to attack it. Right. This is the adjustment I'm going to make. You know what? I'm just going to share it. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
Yeah. So, for the carrier experience for the show that we're going to be doing, we want to make the carrier the highlight of the show, right? So we want the carrier and who they're sponsoring to be the highlight. The agent, right? Now the side benefit to that is that we are building up James as the brand in the insurance industry. So next time, when things open up after COVID,
Pro.
and there's events that come back up to that come together. There's networking events or whatever that comes up. All of a sudden, because we've been doing the podcast and interviewing other people in that space, now he's going to be the one that's recognized in the insurance space, and hopefully we make the show fun enough where people not only see the information that we're bringing as valuable, but they also want to be part of that team. And so hopefully we're going to be recruiting people. We're going to be using that contact information that we get from the insurance agents, collecting the data, lead generation, right? Then we start following up with them, sending them additional content, and we're going to follow up with them to try to recruit them eventually, right? That's the whole purpose of it. But that's not the main way that we're promoting the show. That's a side benefit of what we're getting out of the show. And so during our presentation,
the mistake of actually talking too much about that, and the carrier rep thought that was the whole purpose and premise of the show.
Right. And so it took the conversation in a different direction. So when that conversation was over, we analyzed that, right? We were like, okay, we've done a number of these calls already. That one probably wasn't the best, right?
It's funny though. It's funny because yesterday I had another call and you weren't able to make it to that one, and it was a really good call. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'm feeling confident. I'm going to go and take the lead on this one again, and I'm going to jump in here. And I don't know, I think it was your eyes watching me, man. I was like, I got to perform. There's pressure. Oh, and I dropped the ball.
That's funny, dude. But that's the difference, right? Like all of a sudden, like you feel the pressure because I was on the call, I guess, because you feel like somebody's watching you. But really, dude,
I believed in you for a long time. Okay.
Yeah, dude, I did. Like I knew you had it in you. I know you could do this stuff. But the fact that I wasn't on the call last time to like have your back, you had to step up. Whereas this time, It was more like, let me show you how awesome I did. And that didn't come out as well.
Right? Yeah, pretty much. But no, it's funny when I talk about that pressure and kind of going back to what you were talking about before, when you have, other people relying on you to negotiate on their behalf as a real estate agent. When you talk about people who just aren't quite cut out for it, it's that pressure, right?
Mhm.
That pressure of, I need to perform, I need to initiate, I need to do a good job, I need to make sure that I win the deal for my customer, for my client, because if I don't, they're losing out on their dream house.
Right. Well, that's
That's that extra pressure that I don't know if I could handle that.
yeah. Well, in the difference I think is if you think about it in that kind of pressure thing, you're adding that pressure to yourself, right? Like all of a sudden it's like the world will collapse. Like if a deal doesn't work out, the world doesn't end. That deal just doesn't work out. And what you absolutely,
Because tomorrow the sun will rise.
yes, that's exactly what you have to understand, is that there's always another deal. Now, will that other deal be as nice as the one you have right now? Maybe not, right? You don't know those things. You do what you present what you have in front of you, right? You do it the best you can to bring something to the table. And then from there, you have to let your clients know, you have to let the other agents know this is where our situation is, and let them make a decision. And it's funny because I relate it to poker all the time, right? One of the reasons why I love to play poker, I haven't been able to go since COVID happened, right? But every year I would at least take a trip to Vegas because I just like to sit at the poker table for hours and hours and play poker. Why? The toughest thing you can do to an opponent is put them in a position to make a decision. That is the toughest thing you can do. Right. And you might call it bluffing, and the way it's glamorized on Hollywood, it's completely different. But really the choice is, are you willing to give up or put your chips on the table for what you believe you have? Is what you have a winning hand? And all you have to do is give the other person the opportunity to make the decision. And the thing about poker is when you give another person to make a decision, they're often going to do that thing that most of us do and think, I can do better on the next one. Right? Unless they have the absolute winning hand, and then they're going to come back at you. But for the most part, people tend to back down when you put them in a position where the decision has to be made, where it's costing them enough to decide, and do I really have what it takes to win here? Right? Do I really have that decision? And you do the same thing in every other negotiating strategy, but you don't need to bluff. You just present what you have. This is what I have. This is the best I can do right now in this particular situation. And then whether it's an agent, whether it's a client, whether it's whoever, now you have to make a decision, right? And the cool thing about life is it doesn't matter. Life will go on. Things will change. Things will mature. Things will get better. Things will get worse. It's the decision you make today. And once that decision is made, you can improve upon that. You can make the house better. You can make the house, you can do a bunch of other things after that point. But you need to be able to lay it down and say, this is what I got. This is what I can do. And make the other person take the decision.
This is what we're doing.
Lay it all out there. This is what we're doing. And that's what we do with the carrier experience, right? Look, Mr. and Mrs. Carrier Rep, this is the show we're going to do. We're going to present it this way. By the way, we want you to sponsor each agent that you bring on the show. We're going to charge you $300. This is what they're going to get after being on the show. And this is what we want you to do. What do you think? Right? Lay it out there and present it to them. But I think far too many people are, and that's what happened in that first presentation today, James. Oftentimes we try to beat around the bush, and it's going to be this, and we're going to do this, and this is what I want to do. Like that's all great, but that's not necessary to what we're after here. Let me just present to you the facts. This is the show we're going to do. It has an intro. We can do this type of stuff on the show, and we're going to brand it your way. And this is what we're going to charge. We're looking for sponsors. We're hoping you can be a sponsor so we can highlight what you do. It's going to cost $300. This is what you get. What do you think? Right? And let them make the decision. Right? If we fluff it, we're going to blow ourselves up. Right? Let them make a decision. Some crazy stuff, dude.
It was fun. I mean, it was a fun little learning experience. Like I said, I really think that that first call, you had your eyes on me, and I was like feeling that extra pressure. But after that second one, I loved your idea. Like, look, we're just gonna actually do the show. Like, we've been doing these promos, these 5-minute promos for all of these different carriers. We've just kind of been going in there recording them. Let's just do that. I was like, that's freaking genius.
That's the simplicity. Present what you have, right? And ask them for the business. That's it. That is it. There's nothing to it. I think, for the most part, we tend to complicate things. Like our post. Can you pull up our Instagram, Ham? So like the post today I put on Instagram, it was very much related to that sort of topic. It's like, we tend to complicate our own stuff, right, Jeff? We tend to complicate things on ourselves. Like, the solutions are actually very simple. Everything from if you want to lose weight, well, the solution is simple. You stop eating the crap and you move more than you sit, right? That's the simple solution. We complicate it when we're like, well, I'm going to get this, sugar-free Coke, and I'm going to eat kale, and I'm going to make a slushie in the morning, but I'm still going to sleep in. Like, we complicate things ourselves. We make it difficult for ourselves, but the solution is actually quite simple. So, I think the post today, you're going to get it up here in a second, but the post today was like, you got money problems, right? The solution is actually very easy. It's go make more money. Like can we zoom in? We can't zoom in, huh? Well, yeah. There you go. The solution to your money problem is to earn more money. It's not complicated. We choose to complicate it by not learning how, right? We settle oftentimes in what we're doing, right? Maybe it's in real estate. We decide, it's easy. You lead generate, you lead follow up, you present, you negotiate, you close. That's it. That's all that you need to do during the day. But no, what do? We decide, well, lead generation's a little tough. I think, if I go to Zillow and I pay for this, I might be able to get some leads here and there, and then I can focus on Facebook. Then I can focus on my stuff. Okay, cool. Fine. You found a cheat sheet for lead generation. So then you go to lead follow-up. You're like, well, lead follow-up's a little tough. I mean, I called them one time and I didn't, I don't think they're interested. You start making excuses for yourself, right? And then when it comes to the presentation, you don't actually have a presentation. You didn't actually narrow it down. Maybe you don't have a listing, whatever the situation is. And so, you don't do that step. And before you know it, you don't have any of those steps lined up, right? And it's just a matter of, well, I didn't get a deal this week. That's okay. Maybe I'll get one next week. And next week comes and, well, I didn't get a deal next week. That's it. And the first 2 weeks, no big deal. But after that, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months, now you're feeling the pressure and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go get a job. I knew I wasn't going to be successful at this. I knew it's too hard. Everybody says it's easy, right? You did it to yourself. The solution is actually quite simple, right? We're presenting to you the solution today. Lead generate, lead follow up, present, negotiate, and close. There's nothing more to it. And as far as, what you're doing each one of those steps is you lay it out as honest as you possibly can. This is the situation we got. And I guarantee you that some of the most successful people that you've seen in almost any industry, they're actually very honest. We have this stigma of people that are successful, that they cheated their way to the top, or they're con artists or something like that. And that's not necessarily true. They may not tell you what you want to hear, but they're going to tell you the truth for the most part. And you decide whether you want to continue to do work with them. It's almost like trivia, man. Like, you either know or you don't know. So today I was talking to my students and I asked them, I go, we're talking about employment, right? So employment is the topic that we're talking about in this chapter, in the first chapter of the year. And so I had them Google search different types of jobs. And we're talking about, companies that are going out of business. And I was like, Chuck E. Cheese is one of them. And just out of trivia, I was like, who knows what E stands for in Chuck E. Cheese, right? And like, I had a couple, exciting, whatever. I was like, sorry, man, Chuck E. Cheese is Charles Entertainment Cheese, right? The E stands for entertainment. And that's why we call them Chuck E. Cheese, right? But you either know or you don't know. And you either going to present what you have or you're not going to present what you have. You're trying to fluff it or you're not trying to fluff it. Just lay it out there, right? Just do what you can do. But the key is to do it. The key is to just get up, make that phone call, make that DM, send that email. Just do it. The more you procrastinate, and I know all of you have done this because I do this myself, right? Where there's something I need to do, and instead of doing that thing, what do I go do? Maybe I go clean the bathroom,
fold laundry,
or fold laundry, or do the dishes, right? Do I need to do those things right now? No, but apparently you're so scared of doing the thing that you're supposed to do that you'd rather clean a toilet.
It's still
right?
productive.
Like, it's productive. You're like, oh, I needed to do that. It was busy work. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Get done.
but it's not one of your money. Is cleaning the toilet part of lead generate, lead follow up, present, negotiate, and close? No. So why are you doing that thing? Right? You're doing that thing to avoid that the one of those 5 activities that are actually going to make you the money that you're looking for today. So do one of those 5 things on a daily basis. I have this or all of them, right? I have this activity log that you guys can use if you're interested. We've sent it out in the past. It's designed for real estate agents, but it's a point system, and it's brought to us by Tim and Julie Harris Real Estate Coaching. They're part of the organization where I got my coaching certification from. And it's a daily activity log of things that you do on a daily basis if you're in real estate. And if you do these things, and if you can score 50 points by doing these things on a daily basis, you're going to win, right? You're going to take massive action on a regular basis, and you're going to win. And that's all it's about. How much massive action are you taking? Are you maintaining your activities that are dollar productive, or are you focusing your attention on those mundane activities that they'll get the day through, but not necessarily keep you in a productive state?
You're
Always
working
the question.
in your business or on business.
One or the other, right? One or the other. Dude, I did a lot of talking today, man. I have had I've had a rough one, but usually I get to listen to a guest.
That's
right?
true.
That's kind of the fun part. Our guest today that was scheduled to be on is actually in Europe. So I kind of get the feeling that they might have slept in or, fallen asleep, because it's probably like midnight over there.
Like midnight, where
you're supposed to be. So
I would have fallen asleep.
Yeah, so we give them. So here's how it works, by the way, ladies and gents. We start at 4 p.m. ish sharp, right here on the Business Bros podcast. If our 3 fans, by the way, if you guys see the time shift from 4 o'clock start time to 4:15 start time, that is our ticker. Right, that is where we're dropping the timer, and we're gonna see if this person who's supposed to be on actually hops on. And sometimes they come in right at 4 o'clock. We give them the show rundown, and then we get off and rolling. But sometimes we get close to that 4:15 marker. We have to re-edit some stuff, and boom, we're off and rolling, doing our own thing. And we don't often have time to show prep. So the way we show prep when it's a show like this, it's like, James, what do you want to talk about? And he usually says, I don't know.
What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? And so I'm like, okay, well, what did we do today? What did we work on today? What was the most productive thing we've done? What was the most interesting thing we've done? And then we go out and we share that with you guys. And we hope that it's beneficial for all 3 of our fans. So that's what we worked on today. That's what we did today. That's what we shared with you guys today. That's the mentality that I was in.
And now they know our secret.
And now they know your secret. Right. And I'll be honest, dude, this morning when my alarm went off, these last, I don't know, I want to say the last maybe 5 or 6 weekdays, I wake up and I do not want to do stuff, dude. Like I try to convince myself in my mind. I'm like, you could just lay down, dude. It's okay if you skip the 5 a.m. call. It's okay if you don't work out this morning. It's okay. Like my mind is telling me that, but my discipline pops me up. Right. My discipline gets me to put my freaking running shoes on and go downstairs and drink water and start moving. And by the time I finish my run, I feel a lot better for having done it. But every single time I don't
years
feel like
ago when we lived together, it was a lot of the same thing. We 4:30 and we'd go for a run down there at the park. And every day 4:30 would come around, and no, you didn't want to get up. And I didn't want to get up, but we knew that if we didn't get up, the other one would be up. Dude, if I did up, you'd be up, and then it'd be terrible.
Bros, what was the last business book you read, and what was the biggest lesson you learned from it? So I'll do an activity for Jeff, because he's one of our 3 fans. So the last book I read was called Limitless by Jim Quick. And one of the coolest things I learned was that our mind, first of all, is more like a muscle, not like a hard drive. And if we use our mind the way it was designed, for example, if I say blue chair, if I say red dog, in your mind, you did not see the word blue, BLUE. You saw a blue chair, or you saw a red dog. Imagine Captain Crunch, but red, right? Captain Crunch is their dog, by the way. Yeah. And so your mind thinks in images. So in this book, he gave an example, and it was super cool. So I'm going to give you, and I did this with my students, and they were impressed too. So if you're listening, check this out. I'm going to give you a list of 10 words. right? 10 words. And I want you to think to yourself, I'm going to memorize these 10 words. I'm going to try to repeat them back to repeat them back to me. I know I can't hear you, but try to repeat them back to me in order. Okay. So here are the 10 words: fire hydrant, balloon, batteries, barrel, board, diamond, night, ox, toothpaste, sign. 10 words. All right.
Okay, you had hydrant, balloon, barrel, ox. Yeah, I'm lost.
3 or 4. That's not bad though. That's not bad, right? That's pretty good. Most people can remember 3 or 4. That's why, like, for example, when you were a kid and we had to remember our phone numbers instead of yo Adrian, instead of trying to remember all of them, we grouped them. We grouped our phones, our phone numbers in chunks. So it was 6919 was one chunk. You were a 423 number. It could have been another chunk, and then all you had to remember was the last 4. Our mind usually remembers the 3 or 4. So now here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna repeat these words to you, but I'm gonna repeat them a little bit different. I'm gonna use pictures. So here we go. Pictures and stories. So here we go. I want you to picture in your mind, maybe you close your eyes if you want to, picture in your mind a fire hydrant, right? And if that fire hydrant in your mind is sitting there, it's probably a yellow fire hydrant, I don't know, in a street corner somewhere, right? So you got this yellow fire hydrant, and attached to this yellow fire hydrant are some balloons, right? So think about the color of the balloons. The balloons in my mind are always red, probably because of that red balloon I listened that movie I watched when I was a kid in elementary school. So you got the fire hydrant, and attached to it is the balloons. Now there's so many balloons on this thing, it picks up the fire hydrant off the ground, right? And as it's lifting into the air, you hear shots, right? And it's batteries being shot at these balloons. So you see these balloons being shot, pow, 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 all these batteries flying out there. Now think about the batteries, right? What kind of batteries are there? Think about the brand of the batteries, right? And so those batteries are being shot out of this barrel. And you're like, what the heck? This barrel is shooting out batteries? That's crazy, right? So you got 4 words right there, by the way: fire hydrant, balloon, batteries, barrel. So the barrel is shooting out these batteries, and leaning on that barrel is a board. And you're like, whoa, that looks a little strange, especially because there's a diamond, a big old diamond rolling down that board, right? And that big old diamond rolls down that board and it knocks over a knight, like a medieval times knight, right? Now that's cool. That knight gets knocked out by that diamond, and that ox that he was fighting with is relieved, especially because that ox was brushing his teeth with toothpaste. Now, if you got the whole story, you look up at the end and there's a big congratulations sign, right? So now, if you've seen that story in your head, I want you to think back. Now tell me those 10 words, but not from first to last. Now you should be able to even tell me those words from the last word I told you all the way to the first word I told you. See if you can tell me the words, Jen.
Sign, toothpaste, ox, knight, diamond, board, barrel, batteries, balloon, fire hydrant.
Boom. That is the coolest thing I learned from Jim.
That's incredible.
Craig, right? Because you turn these things into a story. Now, the story doesn't make any sense, but I just told you that story with all 10 words from memory, and I read that like 2 weeks ago, right? And that's the trippiest thing is because I was able to do it that way, I was able to remember some things a little bit differently. And so if you use simple strategies like that, then, dude, James, what does Adrian say, James? Still lost. Come on, James.
I got it.
But Jeff, that was the coolest thing I learned when I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm running when I'm listening to this, and he did that activity, and I was like, holy crap, my mind just remembered that. That was a mind blown. Right? I can remember things that I otherwise didn't think I could. If I can associate them with an image, if I can associate them with a story, I'll be able to grab that information and I won't forget it because I'm associating it with my mind and pictures, the way my mind works. So that was the coolest thing. Great question, Jeff. So, awesome. Ladies and gents, we're past our minute marker. So hopefully we don't have any cancellations this week, but if we do, you'll get to hear us and what we're going to be talking about. So thank you to our 3 fans for listening. We appreciate you guys. And
we will be talking about the carrier experience every day anyway.
We will, because we got it launching here soon.
That's right. September 1st. Here we go.
Adrian, you know you're a runner when you listen to podcasts when you run. Gots to, man. Actually, that was an audiobook. It's not even a podcast. Crazy, man. Gotta fill your mind somehow.
You hear that though? He called you a runner.
I know, and I hate running. But that's all we got for you guys today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.